Alright, everybody, Adam Cleary from FourFourTwo here, and every once in a while you gotta put your hands up and say, look, I might have got that one wrong.
Right. Chelsea are winning the Premier League this season. Yeah, right. Look, I know. Squad full of players you mistakenly think are bad players. Pochettino, manager who understands the league. He's won things now. He's hungry for success. No European football. They are the perfect storm of surprise Premier League winners.
And I mean, while I certainly don't think they're going to win the league anymore, sometimes you can just put your hands all the way back down and say, no, actually I refuse to concede on this point. This Chelsea team is actually really good, and soon you're gonna see why. Alright, so earlier on in this week, Opta, big professional football nerds, they know all the things, they published an article saying, hey, do you know what? We've looked at the underlying numbers, and Chelsea should be 4th. Now I'm going to get this part of the video in as early as I possibly can. No, Chelsea should not be 4th. They are 14th because they have won the required amount of points to put them 14th in the league. XG, XA, all the other underlying numbers, they don't matter one bit whatsoever if you do not put the ball in the back of the net, if you don't stop it going in your own net. I get it. Any comments you want to leave about how these numbers don't matter, I agree with you. But you have to put those numbers in the context of the quotes that have been coming out of Chelsea in the past week saying Pochettino's job is not under threat whatsoever because the powers that be, the owners, the people above Pochettino believe that sooner or later the results will start to reflect the underlying numbers. Those are Chelsea's words. And thanks to that whole thing published by Opta, we can see what those underlying numbers are. That Chelsea are a team that are very wasteful in front of goal, but are nonetheless restricting the number of chances they're allowing their opponents and creating plenty for themselves. Like Chelsea fans, you do not need me to do a video saying you have been wasteful in front of goal this season. Nicolas Jackson especially has missed a host of really good chances, but of course he's not the only one. There's these ones from the Aston Villa game which feel incredibly gilt-edged. The Nottingham Forest game was exactly the same. 2 1-0 defeats that Chelsea suffered despite creating loads of really good chances. And more important than that, they lost both of those games thanks to a rare foray up the other end of the pitch by the opposition and 2 absolutely clinical finishes. Like, I am a big Ollie Watkins fan, but I think you give him or any striker that exact same chance 100 times, they probably only score it like 5 or 6 times out of all of that. Like, the margins of getting it between Sanchez's legs and right after the tackle, it's an almost impossible goal to score, and that's what does Chelsea. And if you look at this graph that measures the quality of the chances over the game, Villa had an XG of 0.1 prior to the red card. A red card in itself, which I thought was quite unlucky because he is off balance and he does win the ball and then he just sort of catches him on the way through. They can't get anything to go right for them at the minute. But the numbers, the underlying numbers that Chelsea as a club are apparently putting all their faith in, suggest that this can't continue for this long. Sooner or later, these results are going to change because the performances suggest that they are. Now, just to explain this whole Optograph thing and how they've got them 4th, what they've basically looked at is the quality of chances Chelsea are creating and conceding in a game, balancing those out to see which team would win, and then assigning the points accordingly. Now, look, you know as well as I do, that is not how football works at all across 90 minutes, but when there's a repeating pattern across a number of games, it is quite interesting. And it does seem to be at least fairly spot on. Like, you would expect Man City and Liverpool to be top of that league, and they are. And I think you'd also expect Luton to be doing slightly better in a table like this because they've had loads of those really big chances, haven't they? They've had a similar problem to Chelsea. They're just not taking any of them, and sure enough, they're up to 14th here. But Chelsea, 10 entire places from the mire of 14th to the golden dreamy light of 4th. How can that be right? I know XG is not for everybody, but it is quite a useful measure of the quality of chances. And just look at this. Chelsea have scored 5 goals in the Premier League this season off an XG of nearly 12. And if we zoom right in on this graph, obviously the coloured in ones, they represent actual goals, but the size of the circle represents the quality of the chance here. You can see the big one on the penalty spot, which is obviously Enzo Fernandez's missed penalty against West Ham. I think that represents about like 0.8 XG, because penalties go in about 80% of the time. That's about as big as those circles ever get. And there are 2, 3, possibly even 4 absolutely massive ones in the 6-yard box. Obviously the tiny ones all around the box, yeah, that's fair enough. You can't rely on them going in. If those are where your chances are coming from, then of course you're not going to score that many goals. But you can just see in the most dangerous part of that box, there are loads and loads of really good chances that I bet if you're a Chelsea fan, you can probably point to each and every single one of those and go, yeah, remember that. Yeah, remember that. Yeah, remember that. And this is the thing, as stupid as it sounds, if I ran a football club and I'm getting asked, oh, you're not thinking about getting rid of the manager, the results have been really bad, and I see this graph, I probably do look at it and think, no, clearly they're doing something right. They're creating loads of chances. Sooner or later, they've got to start taking these, because underperforming XG is such a huge thing in how football brain works now. Like, I know it sounds counterintuitive, but if that was a graph for one centre forward, which it might as well be given that so much of it is Nicolas Jackson, a lot of teams would be really interested in trying to buy that player because they would believe they'd found value where other teams wouldn't be able to see it. Like, oh, he's only scored 5 goals. Nobody's going to be in for him, but we've looked at the numbers. He's actually got an XG of 12. So if he just keeps getting those chances and he keeps getting in those situations, surely those goals will come and we've got a bargain. And I think it's fair to say we did kind of see that in the Brighton game. Like, Nicolas Jackson took his goal really well. It's such a calm, composed finish. The one that was wrongly ruled out for offside, that was a great finish as well, off a really nice bit of movement on the outside of the box. You can see these chances are going to keep coming for him because he's doing things right. He's just got to take them. Like, for all he was getting absolutely rinsed on social media for this miss in particular, some of the movement he was doing in that Villa game to create chances was just top level. Like, here's another graph that's doing the rounds at the minute on The Athletic. Like, this measures both the difference in expected goals against versus expected goals and field tilt. Now, what the first one means is sort of like the running average of how much better your chances are than the opponent. So if you're conceding loads of goals and you're not creating any, you're in the bottom left of this graph. And field tilt's on there as well to show the areas of the pitch you're dominating over your opponents. Basically, how much territorial advantage, how strong is your overall performance. So where you want to be is in the top right, because you're creating better chances and conceding fewer, and you're also dominating the ball. And just Man City, Arsenal and Chelsea are miles ahead of everybody else. Like, look, I know if you're not a Chelsea fan, it's very easy to see the amount of money they've spent and the fact the results aren't coming and just think that's absolutely hilarious, because that's just what we like to laugh at in football. So it is kind of hilarious, but they are playing really well. I think genuinely one of the major problems Chelsea have this season is Tottenham Hotspur, because that's a new project as well. It's required a huge amount of upheaval, and yes, they've not spent the same kind of money, but they've had the same sort of squad turnover, and Postecoglou has hit the ground running with that squad, so it kind of makes it look like everything's gone horribly wrong at Chelsea, when in reality, they're just like 6 Premier League games into a major new project. And also, what definitely doesn't help, by the way, is this. This was Chelsea's starting 11 for the first game of the season against Liverpool. Our first proper look at what Pochettino's Chelsea was going to look like, and it was like this 3-4-3 with 2 sort of narrow 10s and wing backs. It was quite exciting. And I thought, personally, they played really well against Liverpool. They were good value for their draw. They could have gone on and won it. It looked like they were getting off to a good start. But then this was their second starting 11 in the game against West Ham. Reece James picked up a bad injury at the end of the Liverpool game. He'd just been appointed their captain. He was a major part of what they were doing. He was gone, replaced by Gusto. And Chukwuemeka, he looked like a really important part of what they were doing as well. And he got taken off in the first half because he got an injury. And then this is their third game. This is how they lined up against Luton. They just spent all that money on Moises Caicedo, who looked miles off the pace. He was dropped into the centre of the pitch, forcing Fernandez out to here to replace the injured Chukwuemeka. Again, a totally different system, because instead of like a really good runner and carrier, now you've got a creative sort of 10 player over there. It's just something else they had to figure out. And then we've got the Forest game, and for the first time in the season, he's able to name an unchanged 11, and as we discussed, they were really good in that game. They just didn't take the chances that were being created and got sucker punched at the other end. Like, Forest aren't mugs. They'll give absolutely anybody a game, and Chelsea had 77% possession in this game. They completed 3 times as many passes. They had 21 attempts on goal. Like, this was a good performance, just bad result. Then they lined up against Bournemouth. Now they've gone to Pochettino's favoured 4-2-3-1. There's some reports of like Chilwell's taken an injury, so they've kind of had to adapt it. Mudryk comes into the team. Caicedo's now injured, so he's gone out. Again, more things you have to adapt to, more things you have to learn, more unsettling, more upheaval. And again, a good performance against Bournemouth, but no goal. Again, they dominate the ball. They complete way more passes. They have more chances on goal, more chances on target, and very nearly should have lost that game because Bournemouth ran at the other end and nearly sucker punched them with Dominic Solanke. But crucially, a veritable smorgasbord of really well created chances, all wasted. And then finally, the Aston Villa game, Caicedo comes back in. They stay with the 4-2-3-1. They are again on top. They are again dominating. They are again completing more passes and having more chances and dominating the ball and just wasteful in front of goal. And they get a red card and the game flips on its head and a really improbable goal is scored, and that's enough. Look, I get it. Football team spends £1 billion and manages 0.8 points per game in the Premier League. Literally displays form good enough to get you relegated in pretty much every single season of this competition. I get it. We love that as a gag. Ha 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 ha. But this Chelsea team are good. And this is before we even just get on to the whole injuries thing. Like, this is an 11 of Chelsea players who have been unavailable recently, and some will argue is better than the team they actually put out. Now, I have seen some people looking at their upcoming fixtures and thinking, Jesus, they might not get another point now until, like, December. They're going to get battered in some of these games. But I promise you, Chelsea are going to win some of those games. It will finally just click, and you will see how good this team actually... Am I mad? Am I losing? I can't be the only person that sees that this team's actually good and is making chances. And when it starts taking them, is going to be a real force this season. Like, it can't just be me and the Opta data can see this. Somebody else must be able to. Right, that's it. I'm going to stop before I go completely mad. Chelsea fans, please let me know in the comments, is this just me? Am I going completely mad? Or can other people see this? All opinions always welcome. And why not? Hey, this is a fun one. Why not vote for 442 in the Football Content Awards, which is on screen now, and I'm 90% sure that's what it's called. We're up for Best Media Organisation, which certainly sounds big and important, so you can click the link below and go and vote for this there. And I know, I didn't get nominated in the YouTube category, which is obviously baffling, but if this was the only video you'd ever seen, fair. In the meantime, though, grab me on Twitter or X, Adam Cleary, CLERY, the 442 socials. They're always there. You can go after them anytime you like in the video. But until next time, I've been Adam Cleary. I'll see you soon. Real soon. Yeah, bye.